This is the northern side of the lake, southern, western, eastern, and at the moment we're right next to Te Koutu, and like I said before, Te Koutu was pretty much HQ, or was one of the main past sites of our people back in the day. This was heavily also owned by Rakeo and his two marriages to Kiapare and Marua Hangaroa. Later, it ended up getting divided up to Kiapare had one side of the lake, and then Marua Hangaroa and Kau had the other side. Marua Hangaroa and them, they had the southern side. Kiapare had lots of land on this side of the lake. Then of course through warfare, raupatu, and other issues, land was distributed later on. But here on Te Koutu, there's two ways to get here, either by the track, you can come through, there's all different types of tracks, there's Anahaj track, there's a Kepa track down those ways, and Hiwano. You come through the track here, take you about, probably about 10-15 minute cruisy walk to get from that side. Otherwise you can come here. The water's really risen. Last time I was here, you could see the sand, of course, and you just park the boat up and jump off, and then make your way up the hill. Of course, back in the day, I think there wouldn't have been as many trees. It's all overgrown, but there was a palisaded pass side here, and I think that the gateway, Te Rangi Takaroro and Taporahi Taua, was, according to the illustration, was situated somewhere around here. So manuhiri would come here, and then they'll get their welcome and then go up onto the pā. But there were many kāinga that were built on here, and yeah, would have been such a beautiful site, I reckon, back in those days when our tupuna. So, and that's even going back to the 1800s, right up until, like I said, 10th of June 1886 is when our people moved away from this place because of the eruption. And yeah, koe rā ngā kōrero, Te Koutu, HQ. You've got ngā haua and Otu Kino over here. Apparently that's where Te Rangi Takaroro laughed after a particular joke, and his laugh echoed throughout the whole lake. Ka tahi ka tapaina ko o kataina, hei ingoa ho tēnei moana nei. So all of these particular bays, they would have had, they would have just been car parks for the waka. Of course, urupā, a lot of urupā were in secluded areas, especially for outsiders who would come and looking for those bones, especially bones of rangatira and ariki. They were like trophies, and grave robbing was a popular thing back in those days. So they were in secluded areas. Some caves actually under the ground, especially on the coastal areas where the tide would go out. They would put their two pāpaku underneath, and then the tide would go back in again. That's not the case here, of course, but definitely secluded areas and caves where our two pāpaku lay to this very day. Many pā around here, around the lake, bones have been collected up and taken to other places. Yeah, because many of the pā sites have become submerged under the water, where there are three tūāpapa, e toru ngā tūāpapa, three separate terraces, where some of them you can only see the top terrace, some of them even the top terrace is buried. So yes, the water has risen significantly, just very recently actually. Yeah. So we've got two places here. One's called Waikereru. So you can only imagine it has something to do with the kereru over here. Limited kōrero around here. Another one called Anatu Pāpaku, and translated that, of course, cave with two pāpaku in it, I suppose. So without a doubt there has to be some bones around here. Two places, Waikereru and Anatu Pāpaku. Yeah. Kaiwaka just over there, Kaiwaka Bay as well. And we're just going to be going around the corner around to that the aforementioned place, Puke Titoi. See what they're up to over there. Kai muri nei a tātou ko te wāhi e kia nei ko Puke Titoi. Kai konei, te tehi pā, ki e tehi ko o Ruarangi. Yeah, that's an interesting one, because the kōrero says that, I don't know how, but James Calvin had something to do with the o Ruarangi part of it. The other kōrero says that the other name is Oruaroa, which was named by my koroua Kipehau. So there's an interesting one here. So you got this place over here, Oruaroa, Oruarangi, and then this is actually Otangi Moana Bay. Otangi Moana. Yeah, just over there is Lake Tarawhai as well. Okay, so yeah, nice big bay, Otangi Moana. So you've got 3 pā sites here. One is Te Tawa, submerged under the water. Other one's all Pākau at the back there. And then there's this one over here called Arataha. And the kōrero tells us that Arataha was an urupa, but my koroua Kipehau, he actually remembers that there used to be a mihingare that lived here on Arataha back in the day. And his name was actually Haimona. Yeah, that was his name. But koira, so you've got Arataha, Te Tawa, and all Pākau at the back there. So we've got two places here. The first one is Te Haumingi Te Mara Kaipahi, and the one at the back there is called Te Takapau Tāne. And some of the kōrero about this one here, where we're situated, is some significant trees. One was a rata, and māku ngā ingoa e pānui ko te pakipaki o ngauru te ingoa o te rata. And then the other kōrero says that kei reira hoki te tehi tumutumu o te rākau, o rā ko te tama te whanapipi. Te whanapipi was one of our ancestors in the line. Tarāwhai te rangi takaroro te whanapipi, so he's grandson of Tarāwhai and also son of te rangi takaroro. And there was another one called Hapi o Tiko. So koenei ingoa must have been some significant trees here that played some particular part in some particular kaupapa. So koira, so ko te haumingia te mara kaipahi e te pek te takapua tāne. Yeah. So 2 significant places here. First and foremost, Pāteau Rani. Ka reno kia tino tōmenetia tēnei wāhi, hasn't really been explored. Mana, I could be wrong. But over there we have Motu Whetero. And Motu Whetero, it's become submerged over the years, but the palisades are still there in the water, according to the kōrero. And the reason why it was named Motu Whetero, well, Whetero means to protrude the tongue, of course. Motu is island, Motu Whetero. Apparently it was likened to the kākāriki, I think, their tongues protruding out of the water. And the kōrero that I researched is that the water would be so blue, and then when the water came down, and I think it was because of the palisades perhaps, it was likened to the tongue of a kākāriki bird. So koira ko Motu Whetero, and then Pāteau or Pāteau. So this is quite a large part. This is called Te Tōtara. And another one that hasn't really been explored, but the reason behind its name had to do with a wakatau wā that was smeared in kōkōwai. And here, somehow they got around to naming it Te Tōtara. Hapai, so ko tēnei pānui nei ko Te Tōtara. So we've got taparoro over there, and there's a rua, there's a toka, and there's also a slip. The name of the toka is called Puta o Ngauru, and that was the kui of Ngāti Tarāwhai, named after her. You've got the slip, and the name of that one there is called Te Tohua Tamakino. And then you've also got the toka, te kua ki tua matau. So that one there is taparoro. And then over here you've got te tiki tiki. Te tiki tiki, I've seen a lot of kōrero written about that one there. But te tiki tiki, like many, has become submerged, but the upper terrace can still be seen. Yeah, need to use your imagination, I think. Yeah, so might be that there, and the rest is all submerged under the water. Yeah, so taparoro and te tiki tiki. Whakarau manuka, they reckon that this was actually the biggest pā in the whole lake, 4 terraces high, a lot of rua, a lot of ana. One of the ana was quite large that a whole group of people could fit in, and the kōrero reckons that the smaller ana were actually to park their waka in, which is pretty cool. So that's whakarau mānuka. And then in there we've got kai kākahi, and hi te noho ngā kororo mo tērā wāhi, but you could probably only imagine by the name that it's there's a lot of kākahi in there. Then you've got parimata or paremata. These two names that I've seen, pari and pare. The kororo says that this was only a 2-terrace pā, and the other kororo tells us that they used to do mahi manu over here as well. Yeah, hunt birds and stuff. Hapai? So whakarau mānuka, kai kākahi, parimata o paremata. Forgot to mention about whakarau mānuka is that in 1974 they found some bones, and they did a karakia, hiki te tapu, and then they took those bones elsewhere. Same with this one here, this is mokoroa. Mokoroa is a very, very ancient pā. A lot of course, like many of the others, submerged. And there's quite a lot of rua here as well. Many of the rua, a person can actually fit in them. Yeah, there's not too much kororo about this one here, but it's a very, very he pā tawhito tēnei ko mokoroa. So we've got Hiru Parāwa, we've got Otu Te Pō, and over here we've got Ngāti Kahuupoko land, which is Tahuna Pō. And Tahuna Pō was quite a significant pā by the Ngāti Kahuupoko people. There's still a lot of bones there of the people that actually lived there. And one of the reasons as to why Ngāti Tarāwhai actually gave this land to the crown was to protect those bones. I don't know what would have happened to them if they didn't gift it, but koira te tehe o ngā kororo nui, kia tiakina tonu hia ngā koewi o ngā tūpuna I noho wai ki Tahuna Pō. Yeah, and apparently those ones haven't been uplifted and taken elsewhere, like the others at Whakarau Mānuka and Mokoroa and a couple of other places where they had a karakia, uplifted their tapu and took those bones to other places. This one here, apparently the bones are still there. So koira, ko hoki anō tātou ki Tauranga Nui, and of course Te Koutu over there, which was one of the main pā sites. But koira ngā pā, te nui ngō ngā pā o tēnei moana.